Carmela, you make cakes, right?
I do.
But when you think of layer cake, what do you think of?
I think of a delicious chocolate layered cake with chocolate ganache filling and lots of frosting. Why?
Well, do you think of wine at all?
Well, I wouldn't mind having wine with my layered cake.
Well, Carmela, we're going to talk about something different. We're going to talk about layer cake wines. We're going to talk about where they got their name. And most importantly, we're going to tell you all out there in listening land if we think they're any good or not.
Okay, I'm down.
Get ready.
Woo!
Hello, and welcome to the Wine Pair Podcast. I'm Joe, your sommelier of reasonably priced wine, and this is my wife and my wine pairing partner in crime, Carmela.
Hi there.
And we are the Wine Pair.
Woo!
If you're new to the podcast, here is a quick orientation. Each week, we explore a different wine varietal or blend or even brand like Vermentino or Priorat or Layer Cake wines. And we dive into just what these wines are, what makes them special, and why finding new wines to learn about is so fun.
I think so.
And our goal is to help you expand your wine knowledge in a fun way that is understandable and accessible to regular people, not just wine nerds.
Like us.
Yes, and so we also taste and review 2 to 3 wines under $25 each, and we share our scores and our recommendations to help you find great wines without breaking the bank.
Oh.
So thank you. Like you're surprised by that.
I'm really listening tonight.
Thank you. So thank you for joining us, and we're proud to say that Decanter Magazine calls us fun, irreverent,
Chatty.
and entertaining. So, Carmela, we are back to one of our regular episodes this week, and I just want to say that we had a great time last week visiting our son and his girlfriend, and we got treated like royalty at the new tasting room for Chehalem Wines in Willamette Valley, Oregon.
I mean, truly, we were treated, like royalty.
We were.
Sure.
That's
it
what I
was amazing.
said.
Kings
Like
and queens.
royalty. Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
We loved it.
And Chehalem is part of the Stoller family of Oregon wines. And a big shout out to Hannah at Chehalem who invited us and treated us so nicely.
So fun.
It was kind of like we felt a little guilty we were being treated so nicely.
Right. I was like, can I at least wash the dishes or something?
Exactly.
I mean,
we had to buy
gosh.
some wine because we felt like, oh my gosh.
We were excited about it. Too.
Got a big magnum of
gonna be
sparkling.
fun.
Awesome. The tasting room is like amazing.
It's dynamite.
That view of Mount Hood.
Oh my gosh.
Holy
it is
guacamole.
gorgeous. You got to go. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. No.
That's right. That's right. And look,
you should go.
We're not just saying that because they treated us nicely. We're saying that because it really is nice and a beautiful tasting room. Because we did go to another tasting room of a very famous winery in Willamette, and I'm not going to name names, but let's just say we were treated pretty shabbily.
Well,
we were ignored.
Yeah.
Let's just say that.
We didn't introduce ourselves. We didn't know anybody there. We just walked in for a tasting. It was just a little bit unusual.
They didn't know who we were.
Right. We didn't have name tags.
Exactly.
No, but anyway, it could have been an off day. Let's, make sure we give them the benefit of the doubt.
And we're not gonna badmouth them on the podcast. But if you want to know, just send me an email at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com and I'll tell you.
Yeah. Well, again, we're not gonna we're expecting that they
had a bad day.
Yeah.
Okay, well, back to the topic of the day, Carmela, and we haven't done this for a while, but we're going to explore a specific, well-known, easy to find, and reasonably priced wine brand to see if we can advise our listeners on whether or not they should seek out these wines or not. And about a year ago, we did an episode on Josh wines, and the Google machine seems to like this episode a lot. So a lot of people have clicked on our episode. They search for Josh wines or Josh wines any good. And we found that our impression of Josh wines, do you remember what it was?
Oh, it wasn't great.
It was meh.
Yeah.
We said it was meh.
Right.
Now we understand.
They're super popular though.
Exactly. And some people love it. And some people, it's their go-to splurge wine. And, that's fine. We just think that there are better wines out there for the price. But so our goal here is not to judge you. It's just to let you know what we think about these types of wines.
Right.
So today, we're going to see if we feel the same way about layer cake wines or not. And layer cake wines are, in the United States, at least, they're relatively ubiquitous. That's a fancy way of saying all over the place. Mm-hmm. And you can find them in grocery stores. You can find them at big wine retailers. And we're not sure if you can find them outside the U.S. or not. So we'd love to hear from you if you're listening to us from outside the U.S., if you've ever heard of layer cake wines. Now, depending on what scale you use, which we'll talk about in a minute, layer cake wines fall in the premium or the mid-tier premium or the popular premium category. Kind of matters like what scale you're looking at. And that's kind of where most of the wines we review on this podcast fall into. So
Perfect then.
Yeah, so since we've moved into this new price cap of $25 versus $20, which it was before, we've started to include what the industry might call the super premium category, but not yet in the ultra premium category.
Look at us.
Or luxury tier. Not yet. Someday if the prices keep going up, we might just have to go in there, but who knows? So now as a public service announcement, let's break down the tiers and come up with some well-known brands that may fall into each tier. What do you say, Carmela?
I'm ready.
Okay, so value brands are generally under $10. They're of questionable quality. They tend to be very mass-produced, and they're wines that we just avoid whenever possible.
Right.
Any ideas? We would prefer to drink beer than drink those.
Or you would.
I would.
wouldn't drink at all.
Any idea what any of those brands are?
Of wine? Saddle.
Okay, Barefoot, yes. Yellowtail,
Yeah.
Sutter Home, Cupcake.
Oh, yeah.
These are some that you might
Cupcake.
see.
See, and I love that name. But it's not, yeah. But do you remember Saddle wines?
Sure. Wow. You ride in the saddle. I don't know.
I don't know, but we used to drink them in college. Like they were big and they were like $6.99.
And they give you a splitting headache the next day.
Right. They were not good.
Not good. Okay, the next tier is the mid-tier premium brands, and they're generally in the $10 to $20 range. They're usually also mass-produced. They're from big brands. And at the higher end, they're supposedly supposed to be getting into better quality. Sometimes you might find a single vineyard, and supposedly they're more carefully crafted. And you can sort of delineate this tier between like 10 to 15 and then 16 to 20. So brands in this tier include Layer Cake, which is our wine of the day, of course, Josh Cellars, Meiomi, Kendall Jackson, La Crema or La Crema. So some of these you've seen around. Like these are popular wines. Some of them on the more expensive end may be considered like what some people would call their splurge wine, right? So like spend
like
20
Friday
bucks.
night
Exactly,
wine.
a special, exactly. I tend to believe they're a little overpriced and on the sweet side, and that you can find better wines for a similar price. But that's, you know what?
It's neither here nor there.
You do you.
Right.
You do you. Now, the super premium and ultra premium wines are in the $20 to $50 range. And again, there's a break between super premium, which tends to cap out at about $30, and the wines above that. And many of the brands in the lower...
That's such a wide range.
It's a very wide range.
I mean,
20 to...
we would never do a $50 bottle of wine on the podcast.
But we do a $20 to $25, even $30 bottle of wine every once in a while.
Right.
Now, what's interesting is you will find brands in both of these tiers, in the lower tier and these upper tiers. So sometimes you'll see their reserve wines in these upper tiers. But you can look for brands like Duckhorn, Justin, Behringer's, Night Valley Wines, Joel Gott, Kendall Jackson Reserve. So you may see like a Kendall Jackson Reserve in this tier. And these are what you would call top shelf wines, and the reason they're called top shelf is because they're literally on the top shelf. Like
No.
that is why they're called that.
That's hilarious.
It's not.
Well, funny enough, like when you buy clothes, like the smalls and extra smalls are always on the bottom. And then the farther you go up on the shelf, the bigger the size is.
So are you saying a top shelf lady is bigger?
I don't know. I actually
That means
don't.
you're kind of
That's
a bottom shelf. Because she's short, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm cheap? I don't know.
I didn't say that. I didn't say
I
it.
don't like this comparison at all, but it just was the first thing that came to mind.
Okay, she's a top
scratch all
shelf.
this.
She's a bottom shelf
Well,
woman.
They
Okay,
don't know how tall I am.
they do now. Let me tell you, they do now. Okay, now beyond that, you're getting into the luxury tier. That includes like Camus wine, Silver Oak wine, Opus One, more expensive wines. You'll never find them on the podcast, okay?
You'll never find them on the bottom shelf either.
No, in fact, if you do find them, they're probably locked in a glass case.
Right.
They're not just
or
laying
trying
out
to
there.
fool you. It's a scam.
Exactly.
You bring it to the checkout and it'll be like way more expensive than you thought.
Hey, I thought I had a coupon for that.
I thought this was 5 feet. I mean, I thought...
Jesus. Okay, so back to the wines. Layer Cake wines fall squarely in the premium tier at about $15. That's how much they cost, which is a price point where we think people are expecting to get just a bit more quality and a better wine drinking experience. I know for us, like once we get past $20, at least for me, I'm on
You're
the cheap
speaking
end.
for me.
Yeah, once we get past $20, we're expecting to have a pretty decent wine drinking experience. So where will Layer Cake fall,
I
Carmela?
hope that cake doesn't fall.
I shouldn't have
That's not
said
a
that. That's
good-
true.
thing.
Our wedding cake started to fall. It was a hot day, and the buttercream frosting started to melt, and it was
take that cake out too early, then it will fall too, and that's not good either.
No, it's not. So this is the mystery that we're going to unfold. We have 2 layer cake wines that we're going to taste and review today to solve the mystery. We're going to learn a little bit more about where layer cake wines come from and why they're called layer cake in the first place. And it's not because they're made of cake. I'm just letting you guys know that. Okay. But first,
you got to do our shameless plug.
That's right. So thank you for listening to us and supporting our show. And if you haven't done so, now would be the perfect time to follow or subscribe to our podcast, and also to leave us a nice rating and review on our website or Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you do that kind of thing. We really appreciate it. And you can follow us and see pictures of the wines we're tasting and trying today, and weird AI pictures and maybe videos I like to make on Instagram at the Wine Pair Podcast. We're on Blue Sky. If you want to check us out there, we post differently and a little bit more frequently than we do on Instagram.
Nice.
You can contact us on our website, thewinepairpodcast.com. You can sign up for our email newsletter there. And the email newsletter is super fun. You get recipes and wines we like and articles, and sometimes you get polls and all sorts of fun stuff.
You just get like a little
it's a
endorphin,
potpourri. Yeah, it's good. You feel good.
Too.
You feel good. Yeah. If you've been teary-eyed during the day, like I have been, you can read the newsletter and feel a little bit better.
Boost.
Yes, and we want to make content you care about and you like. So send us a note. Tell us what you like and what you don't like. If there's wines you want us to try, wine brands you want us to try, whatever it is, we'll take care of it. You can email us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com. And I got a few shout outs this week. So a shout out to Alejandro on Instagram, who's been DMing us about wines he likes, like a nice Priorat and a Pinot Noir. So we appreciate hearing from you, Alejandro. And by the way, his Instagram handle is Pepito Espada, which I kind of like that. Pepito Espada.
Like pumpkin seeds?
I guess so. Oh. No, not Pepita.
Oh.
I don't know. Now, also a shout out to Wine 101 Hamden on Instagram for reaching out to us and letting us know just that they just found our podcast and that they like it. So thanks for that. Shout out to Dr. Bert, who reached out to us about our minerality episode. We hadn't heard from him on Blue Sky in a while, so it's great to hear from him. And we have Blue Sky buddies like Tips to Live By, Washington Wine Girl, and Amy Leland. So we just want to say thank you to all of you. Keep the DMs and the responses and the emails and all that fun stuff coming. Shaker, thanks for emailing. We always respond, so
cool.
We appreciate that. And as we do every week, we'll tell you someone we think you should recommend the Wine Pair Podcast to, because that's the best way for us to grow listeners. When you tell your family and friends about us, and this week we want you to recommend us to anyone that you know who drinks Layer Cake wine or shows up with Layer Cake wines and tends to say things like, I don't know, but I like this wine. Because they may be interested in what we have to say.
True.
You know, people like that. They're like, I don't know if it's any good, but I like it.
Yeah,
which is totally fine.
I'm interested in seeing the label too, for some reason.
Well, you can see one over there. You might be surprised by it.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know why. I know the cupcake one is kind of cute. So cupcake wines. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
I'm curious to see what you think about the bottle.
All right.
Okay, Carmela, it's time to spill the tea about Layer Cake wines. And if you're skep,
oh my,
to find out a little bit more about them.
Did you start that on this podcast?
Skep? Yeah, we did this like just a few weeks ago.
But you were calling it spec.
No, I said skep. It was spec after we were off that I couldn't remember what it was.
I just threw you under the bus.
But Carmela, what the are Layer Cake wines all about? And aren't you curious about why they're called Layer Cake wines?
Yes, I'm really curious. I'm dying to know. I'm dying.
Okay, so Layer Cake Wines was founded in 2004. So they're
it's young.
Yeah, kind of new.
It's like 20 years old.
Like you.
21 years old.
Short but young. And they were founded by a dude.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. They were founded by a dude named Jason Woodbridge. And he was inspired by his grandfather. And his grandfather evidently compared wines to layer cakes because they have layers of complexity. So more specifically,
I love this guy.
His grandfather believed that the vineyard soils were like a layer cake and that properly made wine from those would have delicious layers of flavors and aroma.
Way better than comparing, like saying a layer onion.
True.
Right.
What about a parfait?
I was just going to say a parfait would work too.
Everybody likes a parfait.
But like the cake thing, it's speaking to me a little bit.
Okay, well, that was what I was going to ask you.
Okay.
Because the name is supposed to generate images of like comfort and richness and deliciousness.
Right.
And
money.
and layer cake? I don't know.
I make layer cake.
So here's the question. When you hear the name Layer Cake wine, what do you think of?
I think it sounds, well, kind of
Now
seems
that you know the
sweet.
story, maybe.
Yeah. First of all, I just love
But
it.
if you hadn't heard the story.
It's intriguing to me.
Okay.
I think if I were to see it, I
She
would
is
be
a baker, ladies and
yeah,
gentlemen.
if you didn't know. I
Baby
love
cakes
it.
lady.
I would buy it just for the name.
Yeah.
I
You do.
would.
So you're okay with the name Layer Cake?
I think it's kind of fun. Like, I wouldn't buy it for my dad.
No.
I wouldn't probably
No.
buy it for you.
No.
But I just think it sounds cute.
Yeah. So I think this is my issue with the name.
Too cute.
It's too cutesy. It
Sounds
feels
too sweet.
I actually worry that
Might deter people.
yes, and to me it's like it's giving me the sense like, are these going to be really sweet
You can't take it
wines?
seriously.
Yeah, and
Wow.
so that's actually what I wrote here in the show notes, that I don't. To me, it would probably be for people who don't take wine as seriously as I do.
So maybe for like a 1-year-old's birthday party. Which would not be appropriate at all.
No,
But it does sound
especially
like,
especially
hey,
a smash
who brought
cake. You wouldn't want them to do the smash layer cake wine. That would be bad.
No. But you wouldn't want to show up to the birthday party for a 1-year-old with a layer cake bottle of wine.
Sure, you would, but not for their gift. Let's just
No,
put it that way.
no.
You wouldn't put
Maybe a hostess
You wouldn't
gift
put like
if
a nipple on it.
Wow.
That's not a dirty word. A nipple. That's what you put on a bottle, a baby bottle. It's called a nipple. What else do you call it?
No, you're right. You're right. All of a sudden,
Get
we
your
got
mind
like
out of the gutter.
PG-13 on this, so,
Nipple is just a body part.
Right.
Okay.
I know. I
Okay.
have to.
So do I.
Okay. That's true. We all do.
We all, not everybody. Okay, so some have 3. Okay, so this winery makes some pretty typical varietals.
Yeah.
Stop. And,
I'm not saying anything.
and interestingly,
Sorry. You brought it up.
I did. Okay, so I got to start this again. The winery makes some pretty typical varietals, and interestingly, they also make some less common ones, at least for an American winery. So they make the typical ones, like a Napa Cabernet Sauvignon, a couple of California Chardonnays, a Pinot Noir, even a Malbec. But actually, their Malbec comes from Argentina. But these are not super surprising choices, and I'd expected them to be, pretty fruit forward, pretty oaky. And the reason why I think that is because a lot of the information that I've found about these wines says that they're generally aged in French oak. And so I kind of expect them to be a little bit this California punch you in the face style. But they also have a few wines that are a little less common. And what's interesting is that they make several wines that are global. So the Malbec, again, is from Argentina. They have a Primitivo that's made in Puglia.
Ah.
And remember, Primitivo is Zinfandel when it's in other places, and a Shiraz from Australia. So, and remember, Syrah is Shiraz, and a Garnacha from Spain, which is Grenache. So,
A lot.
yeah, so while they make these varietals, they're not grown in California, which I think is kind of unique. So they're a California winery, but they're making wines also found like in other parts of the world.
Right.
So that's
Interesting.
And they only do 100% varietals.
But they're all called layer cake.
They're all called Layer Cake.
Okay.
And they only do 100% varietals, so they don't do any blends, which is also,
That seems
kind of unique.
sophisticated.
I
for, like,
agree.
a name like that.
Yeah. And and actually it would be interesting. In some ways, you could almost see, Layer Cake
You'd want a blend.
but they're not. They're not blending. They don't say that they are organic or sustainable, but they do say that they work directly with the farmers who source the grapes or who they source the grapes from. And they also say that the grapes generally are handpicked, separated, and fermented with care.
Nice.
So that's nice.
That's
Now,
very
Carmela,
sweet.
depending on who you ask, the marketing team at Layer Cake would have you believe that they over-deliver on quality for the price and are considered quote-unquote wallet-wise.
Ooh.
I did not make up the wallet-wise either. That's marketing speak that's on their website, so it has to be
I
true.
like them.
It has to be true. The founder calls them
We're kind of wallet wise in this podcast.
Indeed we are. Now, their founder calls them affordable luxuries, and he says that the aim is to create a wine that costs $15 that tastes like $50. So that's high expectations.
Wow.
Now, here is an interesting thing, though. Jason Woodbridge, again, the person behind Layer Cake, is also behind a very high-end cult California Cabernet Sauvignon called 100 Acre. And they make some expensive juice. They have wines anywhere from $150 to $750.
My goodness.
So it's the same winemaker.
Wow.
So they say they use the same winemaking techniques and the same
What is he
winemaking
drinking?
team.
That's what we want to know.
I don't
Jason.
know, but if they're Jason, tell us what's up, Jace.
Yeah.
Do you think he goes by Jace?
Maybe
Probably not.
like people that know him well. I don't know. Like we can call him Jace.
Not yet, but maybe
How about
later.
Son?
That's weird. Okay, but anyway, if they are using the same winemaking team and the techniques to make this wine, you would think that it's going to be good.
Mm-hmm.
But we should also be a little bit careful. This is a mass-produced wine. They are not the biggest winery in the U.S., but they do make about 450,000 cases per year, which puts them in the large category. Not the mega category, but like the large category. The other thing, too, is this winery's actually been bought and sold repeatedly, which is not usually very awesome.
Not a good sign.
Yeah. So in 2017, so remember, they just started in 2004. In 2017, they were purchased by Vintage Wine Estates. And then in 2024, so very recently, they were sold to Total Beverage Solutions, which...
That's a little close.
Yeah.
I mean, like the 2004 to 2017.
Yeah.
That's a good length of time. I don't know, actually, but just a few years.
I know
this is the last sale.
No, it's actually a really good point, because I think exactly what you're thinking, that when a brand is bought and sold, especially like repeatedly in a relatively short period of time, it makes you wonder about what impact will it have on quality. Now, we don't have any experience with it. So if anybody out there does, like you've been drinking Layer Cake wines for several years, and you've noticed a change in quality over time, we'd be really interested to hear that, because maybe it's done nothing. But sometimes, when a brand takes over another brand and there's changes, and they change the leaders, they change the
change is hard.
Sometimes they want to cut costs and that kind of stuff. So curious to see if anybody would say anything out there in listening land. So just let us know. But I think on that note, it's time to learn a little bit more about the specific wines we chose for this episode. What do you say, Carmela?
I say we do.
Okay, so as usual, all the wines, or both the wines we have chosen for this episode, are under $25, and they should be easy to find because, at least in the United States, you should find them at any decent-sized store with a decent-sized wine selection, and you may even be able to find them at your local 7-Eleven if they sell wine.
Wow.
Who knows? Again, they're popular, they're mass-produced, which is why we're covering them in this episode. So now the first wine we're going to drink is the 2022 Layer Cake Creamy Chardonnay. Now, I will say that we are trying not to be biased, but that's kind of exactly the kind of wine I would never, ever buy.
I know. Why did you choose it?
Because I think this is what people would buy. Okay. I think there's a reason why they're making a wine called Creamy Chardonnay.
Right.
And it's not because they're trying to turn people off.
No.
It's because they know that there is a certain group of people that are super attracted and interested in that kind of wine. So that's why I wanted to try it. Not because I want to be biased from the get-go, but I'm like, this is what people are going to drink. If somebody is listening to this podcast and they're like, I don't know, I kind of like it, but, should I? I don't want to try something they're not going to drink. So I just think it's the what we should do.
Well, we need to channel our inner Chardonnay love.
I agree. We're going to have to
go with a very open mind. And the creaminess, we got to buy into it.
Got to buy it.
Yeah, buy into it. You got to
because I already bought it.
Oh, true.
But not just go in skep.
No. We have to turn that off, buddy.
That's right. So now it's buddy. Okay, so I heard... It was hard to find out a ton about this wine, or really any of the Layer Cake wines, and even the Layer Cake website was really not that much of a help. But one website called Lisbon Liquors, which is evidently a store in Newark, New Jersey, had this to say, that they claim that there is minimal intervention in the winemaking process, as well as gentle harvesting and a gentle aging process. So I don't know where they got their information from, but I'm gonna believe them.
Handled with care, gentle.
That's right.
Okay.
Now the bottle says that the wine is from California, but the Lisbon Liquors website gives a little bit more specific information about where the grapes are from, noting that they come from cooler climate vineyards in Monterey and Santa Barbara. And Santa Barbara is where the wines from California I like the best are from. Okay. So let's give them a little hope here. They say the wine is aged in 3-year-old air-dried French oak. And as we've said many times, French oak is more mellow than American oak. They don't say if the oak is toasted. They just said air-dried, but they didn't add in if it's toasted or not. So they usually are, toasted oak is going to have stronger, like vanilla, smoky kind of flavors. But they also don't say if the wine undergoes malolactic fermentation. And that is typically done for California Chardonnays, because what malolactic fermentation does, in the simplest terms, is it takes away some of the acid in the wine. It converts some of the acid. So we like high acid wines, but a typical buttery Chardonnay is not high in acid. They try to remove a lot of that acid. So still a lot of questions are not answered, but we're going to move to our second wine. I will say one other thing. It's a screw cap.
Oh, okay.
So we like that.
Got that going for it then.
That's right. So the second wine we're going to drink is the 2021 Layer Cake Cabernet Sauvignon. And again, anybody who listens to us with some frequency would know that we would never choose a Chardonnay and never choose a Cabernet Sauvignon, or at least generally not choose them together. But again, to your earlier question, I think these are the wines that most people are going to look for if they're going to buy this brand of wine. And so I think that's what we got to review.
Okay.
So again, we're going to give it a fair shot.
For sure.
Okay. So again, wasn't super easy to find out much about this wine, but I went to ChatGPT.
And
you know, you can always trust ChatGPT.
Oh boy.
So this is labeled as a California wine, but ChatGPT says the grapes are sourced from Paso Robles and other Central Coast vineyards. They also say it's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. And the only reason I call that out is because technically in the United States, you can call a wine a single varietal if it's 75% or more of that grape. So it's kind of a low bar. But they say it's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon.
Okay.
So that's significant. They also say the grapes are handpicked and fermented in small batches. They do call out that this wine does undergo malolactic fermentation and that it's aged in a mix of French and American oak barrels for 12 months. So I think it's going to be a bigger, oakier kind of wine.
Okay.
I will say that in the description of the winemaking, they're calling out some techniques that would be expected for more carefully made wines versus mass produced, right? So that's good.
That is.
And the bottles mention that the wines are 100% handcrafted. Although I'm not sure what else you would say. Like, are they foot crafted or elbow crafted or electronic claw crafted? I mean, handcrafted kind of doesn't mean anything.
No, but it's, what are you going to say, crafted?
These are crafted wines. I don't know. It just seems like a throwaway marketing line. Okay. But you know what? I'm being judgy.
Need a little more clever.
I'm being judgy.
I get it.
Okay, I think that's enough information. We need to get drinking. If you have these wines, similar wine, you want to just drink with us, drink along with us, see if you taste the same things we taste. Get those participation points. Send me an email. I'll send you stickers if you just tell me that you did it, okay? Or just tell me that you just email me.
Just say you want stickers.
Yeah, and we'll give them to you. All right, sure. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. All right. Okay, we're back and we're ready to try our first wine. Carmela, what do you think of the label?
It's cute. I mean, I don't know. I'm not convinced it's the right look for a bottle of wine.
It's a little playful.
Which is kind of fun. Like for the right person. Yeah. It's great, but there's a cake. There's a cake on it.
There is a cake, which would make sense. This is the Layer Cake Creamy Chardonnay. It's from California. It's a 2022. It was $13.97 at wine.com, which means they were trying to get rid of it. 13.5% alcohol. So it's quite a bit of alcohol for a white wine. That's on the higher end, 100% Chardonnay as far as we know. And Vivino is the only place I could find any sort of rating, and is a 3.7. Although I just think Vivino ratings are generally about that range. But Carmela, what do you, first of all, let's do the color.
Dark.
Really?
I think it's dark. You don't think it's dark?
I think it's a very typical Chardonnay kind of color. It's kind of, it's yellow. It's kind of a straw, maybe a dark, like a hay kind of yellow. I don't know.
Hay.
But anyway, well, let's smell it. And she's coughing.
Sorry.
What are you thinking on this, on the smell?
I think I can smell the creaminess.
Buttery,
and it's like a vanilla extract.
Vanilla.
Almost,
and like a caramel, like what is a not
caramel? You're right.
Caramel
toffee.
And like
kettle corn.
Kettle corn.
Yeah, kind of kettle corn for sure. Yeah.
I might be getting a little bit of like pineapple and apple on it, but I also feel like I'm getting a little bit of banana.
I can get behind that for sure. Yeah, no, I'm not. It's funny. I'm not getting much apple. I'm getting like what you're saying, the pineapple. It's rich to me. I can smell that richness of a Chardonnay. Yeah,
an unoaked Chardonnay is going to be very tropical fruity. People don't know that because they're often oaked, but they're very nice. Okay, anything else you smell? Very vanilla.
There's also I don't know what it's kind of like a Otter Pop.
Like what flavor? What color of
there's
Otter
something
Pop?
about Otter Pops, like maybe like an orange Otter Pop.
You know what's really funny is I was kind of thinking orange. Yeah. I was kind of getting a little creamy orange.
Yeah, like a creamsicle
orange.
Yeah,
maybe that's more of what it is. That creamsicle kind of orange and vanilla.
Kind of like the small little containers you would get as a kid
of sherbet.
Of sherbet.
One side would be ice cream and the other
problem.
would be orange sherbet.
Yeah.
It's sherbet, people.
I know it's a scary
Look
realization.
it up. Look it up. It's not sherbet.
Right.
It's sherbet.
It's a great test to do to somebody, though. Just say, what do you call that orange ice cream?
Mm-hmm.
And they will say sherbet.
Can I just tell you guys something? It's like the Mandela effect, right? Like something everybody thinks is true but isn't really true. Can I tell you something really embarrassing? I was just talking to somebody this week who's from South Africa, and she's never heard of the Mandela effect before.
No.
Okay, so let's taste it. I got to tell you, man, as it was coming to my lips, I was getting that vanilla.
It's really vanilla-y. It's almost, like I said, though, kind of artificial, like an extract.
Totally artificial to me.
And I'm getting the sherbet. I'm getting orange on it.
Oh. I feel like it's one of those things I'm going to taste again because it's not good. And I just need to taste it again.
Well, and it's so rich. Like, I just don't know about this with food. Oh, he's not liking it all.
I mean, this is exactly what I don't like in wine. It's very creamsicle, bitter.
It is like dessert.
Bitter, but not good bitter, like oak barrel bitter. Like I've just like chawed on a piece of wood.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm a beaver.
Oh my. I
We have little beavers in our pond.
We do. They're so cute. But no, it's very interesting to me because I know this, like, Chardonnays are super popular, but like this is a meal. Like, I almost feel like it's an indulgence in like a decadent, weird way for a wine.
It kind of is. I mean, it's almost cakey in that it's super sweet.
It's very sweet.
It kind of almost doesn't taste like wine.
Yeah, I feel like that's, or it's almost like those sparklings we used to drink too. What were they called?
Like Asti Spumante?
Right. It almost has that really richness of that.
It's got a really like strong aftertaste. I'm not enjoying this. What would you eat with this?
That's the hard part. I don't know.
It is very difficult to pair. This is one of the things I bet it did undergo a lot of malolactic fermentation because it doesn't have much acid on it. Like acid is puckery and it, make you pucker your lips.
No.
It's not like that at all.
This is almost like a drink on its own.
You know what it tastes almost like a little bit? It's like a flat orange soda.
Yes. That is so true. That's maybe what I was trying to get at with the sherbet.
Yeah.
Oh,
sherbet.
And the orange, yes, like an orange crush.
That's gone flat.
Fanta.
Yeah, you had the big 2-liter bottle and you forgot you had it in the fridge and you open it a week later and it's like...
And it has that little bit of artificial taste to it.
Yep.
Like it tastes a little bit like orange, but it's not like real orange at all.
But what would you eat with it?
Well, I'm still having a hard time. I almost feel like maybe it's a cocktail wine that you'd have maybe you should have nuts with it.
Feels like more of a dessert wine to me.
Oh, okay.
Maybe you would have it with ice cream or something.
Or over ice cream. Maybe you should pour this on top of it.
I would not have this with savory foods.
I think you could. I mean, I think you could, definitely a dessert would be good with this. Even like something chocolatey, like a...
Yeah, that's some dessert.
Yeah,
but... Or dried fruit, maybe dried fruit.
Dark chocolate would be good. But I do think you could do something salty too.
Maybe I'm gonna let you go with that. I wouldn't, but I could. I'm gonna let you.
I'm just
nachos,
trying to cut the
nachos.
Sweetness.
Would you eat nachos with?
I would eat nachos with anything. Okay, nachos are like
fair enough.
Look, they make everything better. So if that will help,
that is true. Nachos do make. I mean, if you're sad, have some nachos.
Right, and read the newsletter.
If the world's getting you down. Nachos newsletter. Turn off the TV. Yeah. Okay, we're going to rate this wine. As a reminder, on our rating scale, we rate on a scale of 1 to 10. We don't do half points. 7 and above means we're going to buy it. 4 and below means we're going to pour it down the sink. And a 5 or a 6 means, we'll drink it. We'll finish it, but we're not going to buy it. And maybe we'll look for something else. So, Carmela, what rating would you give this wine?
I'm going to give it a 5.
Wow. I'm giving this one a solid 2.
I had a hunch. I had to
But you would drink this.
I would drink it. Like this is the deal. Like it's not like
you wouldn't pour it down the sink.
No, I think I would. I think I would really nurse it. Like it would take me a while.
With a nipple.
No, God, I wouldn't. I wouldn't want to put a nipple on top of this bottle.
Remember, people, jokes always come in threes. You need to know that. Right. That's how comedy works.
I didn't know that. But anyway, so I do. Yeah, I would.
Just wait until the next time I say nipple. You're going to laugh out loud.
Wait, do you have a joke for it?
No.
Oh, okay. It's going to happen? Okay. Wait for it?
No, just keep going. Okay. I'm sorry.
So anyway, yeah, I'm going to give it a 5 because I'm not like totally offended by it like you are.
I'm proud of you.
Why?
I'm proud of you.
Are you, and maybe you're not proud of me.
No,
Maybe you're like, wow.
I'm very proud of you. You decided this is a wine you would drink. You knew that I wouldn't like it when you tasted it, and I gave it I like it. I like that our scores are very divergent.
Yeah. I mean, they're not terribly. It's not like I'm going to go out and buy this or choose to drink it.
No.
But I will, and 5 is the lower part of 5, 6.
You're right.
Like the lower shelf.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's what I'm going to give it.
That's very good. Okay. We're going to take a break and we're going to try our last wine.
Okay.
Okay, we are back and we are ready to try our last wine. This is the Layer Cake Cabernet Sauvignon. I will say really quick, the bottle seemed small to me. The label, whatever, you can talk about the label if you want, but I just thought the bottle in the hand felt small. It looks normal against the other bottle, but I don't know. What do you think of the label?
Okay, I like the cake in this label better. I just like that little abstract cake.
Yeah.
And the other one's too floofy and, but in general, I just think it's just overdone.
Okay. All right.
I mean, it's got frosting. See that?
Yeah.
But it's just like, it's kind of like a lot.
Okay.
I like it. They should have just had a white label with that abstract
cake. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. It is from California, a 2021. It was $14.97. The 97 indicates again, probably trying to get rid of it. Wine.com, 13.7% alcohol. So not super high in alcohol for a Cabernet Sauvignon.
7?
Yeah.
Wow, they like these 7s.
I guess so. 100% Cabernet Sauvignon, and Vivino had a 3.6 rating, which is kind of low for Vivino. But let's look at the color first. It is not opaque.
No.
It's actually kind of light for a Cabernet, I feel like.
And it's not as purpley. I mean,
it's not. Yeah. It's not deep. It's not it's almost Pinot colored, or like it's a lighter colored red. It's not super deep. No. What are you smelling?
Okay, so I'm definitely getting smoke. Maybe a little bit of like, I'm getting some dark cherry, I think, but almost even like, there's a little bit of like pomegranate on it.
Okay.
Too. I don't know.
On the swirl, it's not nice. Like I'm getting that kind of old basement-y kind of smell, so I'm stopping swirling it, which is not a good sign. It's just kind of got that smoky but kind of basement-y, wet cement kind of smell.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, there is, I'm definitely the smoke. It's almost a little bit of tar.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm smelling alcohol, so maybe that's some of the tar on it as well. Like it smells alcohol-y to me, and a little bit potpourri.
Ooh, these are not good cogs for this wine.
No, there's some fruit in there. Maybe it's cherry, but maybe I'm with you. Like it is a little pomegranate-y.
Yeah, a little bit of like bitterness or I don't know, or tang to it.
Yeah. It's
a lot of I don't knows.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's flowery, but it's not rose. I'm not smelling rose.
No, I know. I'm kind of just a little stumped.
I will say it's a little grapey. It's a little like grape juicy kind of smelling, don't you think?
Oh my gosh.
Okay, well,
can't wait to try it.
I know, let's try it and see what we think.
Okay.
Tastes like perfume.
It's
really a strong alcohol-y.
I think it tastes a little bit like tobacco too.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
actually, I like that.
Accidentally, I don't know how you accidentally put tobacco on your mouth. or you know what it tastes like, which I've never had either, is what's that dip? What's it called?
Chaw. Yeah, like chewing tobacco.
Yeah, chewing tobacco, like the smell of
I have had chewing tobacco.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't.
It does have that kind of sweet tobacco-y. I think a sweet tobacco is a good one.
Yeah, sweet chewing tobacco
and you're getting that, like, part of tobacco too, to me, has that kind of tar kind of, and almost molassesy.
Molasses. Yeah, I can definitely.
I said molassesy.
Molassesy.
Do you think so? A little bit? It is.
Yes. That's something I think that it's like the what is it? Blackstrap. It's kind of a pretty dark, rich molasses.
I'm getting, it's super, like, I can't get past like this very rose potpourri kind of taste. It's a little bit cherry, but it's like a
little bit rock and roll.
Yeah, a little bit, but it's like I wouldn't even say it tastes like an artificial cherry.
Yeah. Not
like a real cherry.
It's pretty tannic too, or something.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not really enjoying this one.
This to me is a very,
I don't think it's a Cabernet really tasting either. There's not a lot of fruit on it.
I'm actually surprised it's 100% Cabernet.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It doesn't have much depth, and
It's not a fruit bomb like you call it, or punch you in the face fruit bomb.
It's not a fruit bomb in that it doesn't have a huge mouth feel, but it's very punchy. To me, it's more like
a black eye or a broken nose.
I'm going to take it back. It's a slappy one. It slaps. It feels like, but not slaps like the kids say. Like it feels like it just slapped you in the face.
Oh.
What food would you have with this?
This has been hard tonight, pairing the food. Probably because I'm just not loving the wine. Oof. I don't know. Maybe you want like a cheeseburger. It's just not a very sophisticated wine either. Yeah. So
it tastes very artificial to me.
Pizza.
It tastes like artificial sweetener. Pizza was what I was thinking. Something cheesy, like super heavy, bready, so you don't really have to taste it. A grilled cheese with tomato.
A grilled cheese would be great.
With tomato. You got to put the tomato on.
Okay. Yeah. Like a stinky cheese too, like a Beecher's.
Yeah. And maybe, and
cheddar, Beecher's cheddar.
Yeah. And maybe like a mac and cheese or something like really like a good Kraft macaroni and cheese or Velveeta cheese, like in there.
Right.
That it's, it's not a steak one. I wouldn't have a steak with it. I don't know.
No, it's just not, it's not like a steakhouse type of wine.
No, it's got no body. It's got no, I ain't got no body.
You always have us hear a song coming on.
I know,
don't you?
I do. Okay,
I feel a song coming on.
I feel a song coming on. What rating would you give this wine?
Well, for me, I'm going to give this one like a 3.
Okay, that's a good rating.
Yeah, I can't finish this for sure.
Yeah, I'm not a 2. I wasn't thinking I was a 3. I was thinking more of a 4.
What's the difference?
To me, a 4 is like I might accidentally keep drinking it if I was drunk enough.
Oh, okay.
But
3,
like
you're not gonna like.
3,
you couldn't
I'm like,
be ever drunk enough to have it.
Yeah, like a 3, I'm like, this is gonna burn a hole in my gut.
Yeah.
I'm thinking too hard about this. It's not. We're not gonna buy it, and we are gonna pour it down the sink. Like I'm gonna give it a 3. I'm gonna agree with you and just give it a 3 because it's like, what is the difference?
I don't know. I don't. This is.
If you had to finish one of these wines tonight, which are you finishing?
Oh, for sure the Chardonnay.
Which is really funny because I would finish the Cabernet.
That's so funny. Well, you did give it 1 point higher.
You're right. That's a full point.
Yeah. And I
on a 10-point scale, that's a lot.
That's a lot. And I actually said that I'd finish that Chardonnay. So
you did. That's a big deal.
I don't know. Then I was thinking maybe if I had half a glass of it, then I may not finish the rest.
You might be done. Yeah, or not go back for more.
Right.
All right, let's talk about the taste profiles expected from these wines. Okay. A creamy Chardonnay. A typical oaky Chardonnay has rich aromas of peach, mango, lemon, accompanied by notes of vanilla and butter, toasted bread, baking spices, stone fruit, underlying note of apple or citrus. We didn't get a lot. We got the butter. We got the vanilla. Lots of vanilla. Mm-hmm. This is what the winery says. Creme brulee, vanilla cream. We did get that. Candied apple, ripe, juicy pear. All come together in a rich mouth full of flavors. The flavors are rich and have generous candied caramel. Yes. Okay. Baked apple pie. I don't think so. Buttered toast. Butter for sure. Juicy fruit. I don't know if they meant juicy fruit or juicy fruit.
Right. Juicy fruit gum.
Yeah, exactly. And a long, crisp finish.
Not
crisp at all.
Yeah.
So we don't agree with you. Sorry, Layer Cake. A Cabernet Sauvignon, a typical California Cabernet Sauvignon would have black cherry, licorice, black pepper, vanilla, black currant, blackberry, plum, tobacco, and violet. So violet may have been the flower, but you definitely got tobacco.
For sure.
The winery says perfumed with violets and wild berries. It shows strong varietal characters and rich, ripe plum fruit. Seamless and elegant. Wow. This wine shows big black fruit on the palate, fine-grained, soft tannins. I don't agree. And a long coffee chocolate finish.
A coffee.
Yeah. Buy Wines Online says the wine opens with a bouquet of ripe dark fruits like blackberry, cassis, which is blackcurrant, and plum, which are seamlessly integrated with hints of mocha, vanilla, and a touch of oak. Full-bodied and rich on the palate. It's not full-bodied. Luscious fruit flavors balanced by notes of dark chocolate and a subtle spice, creating a layered and satisfying taste experience. Robust tannins and smooth finish. I just don't know what wine this is. That's not the wine I tasted.
No. Well,
so, Carmela, verdict on Layer Cake wines.
Well, I think we're going to stick to just a layered cake.
Yeah. If I want a layer cake, I'm going to get a cake.
Yeah, I think so.
I would just say, again, we chose varietals that we don't tend to like anyway, so we may have been biased a little bit by that. But I mean, I'll be very open-minded. Like, we have found that Bogle wines I like. Like, those are mass-produced big wines, and I have surprisingly liked a lot of Bogle wines. So just because it's mass-produced doesn't mean we're not going to like it.
Right.
I just don't, Saint Michel, Chateau Saint Michel, I like their wines.
Yeah.
They're big, whatever, big winery. These are just not very good. Like, I think you can do a lot better for $15.
I think so too.
So
I think so. Branch out.
Try our, look at our other episodes, go to our website. We have that buy wine, that shop wine section. You can find wines that are in this price range that we would say are 7 and above.
Right.
So like, do that. Like, you'll be able to find them. Anyway,
but if you like these, I'd be interested.
Fine.
Yeah, of course.
Tell us why you like them.
Yeah, maybe we're missing something.
Yeah, what did we miss? And maybe there's a Layer Cake wine. You're like, I agree with you. I don't like those wines as much, but I really like this one.
Right.
So if it's the Malbec or something else, like, let us know if there's a Layer Cake wine that you're like, you guys, you missed it. You just chose the wrong wines.
Right.
So let us know. Okay, Carmela, it's time for us to go. But before we do, we want to thank you very much for listening to us. And if you haven't done so yet, now is a great time to follow or subscribe to our podcast and also to leave us a nice rating and review. We love to hear from you. We want to know about wines you want us to taste or review, or wine brands that you want us to check out and see what we think. So you can come to our website, thewinepairpodcast.com, sign up for our email newsletter there, and reach out to us at joe@thewinepairpodcast.com, or find us on Instagram and Blue Sky and all that kind of stuff. But with that, we're going to sign off. So thank you once again. We'll see you next time. And as we like to say, life is short, so stop drinking shitty wine. Bye-bye.
Bye.